Run or elliptical? Is the elliptical really better for your knees? We've heard it hundreds of times. Running leads to arthritis in the knees. The elliptical, or the exercise bike, are so much safer. But what does the science say about this? What to remember is that arthritis is an inflammatory disease that comes from trauma and poor muscle control of the joint, and not from the loading effects of running. The assumption that's being made is that we have higher gravitational load that leads to more inflammation and thus arthritis. With greater compressive forces at slower paces, but not at higher speeds, we get greater compressive forces with downhill running versus uphill running. If we look at the summation of all of the forces that are at play, we do not get greater deformation of the cartilage or greater damage of the cartilage, leading to inflammation or OA, or osteoarthritis, from running. If we look at what happens with the elliptical, we get greater shearing and valgus forces across the knees. We get greater flexion of the trunk, hip, knee, ankle that leads to greater muscle activity of the hip flexors, knee extensors, but lower muscle activity of the plantar flexors, dorsiflexors, and hip abductors. The impact of the multiplanar control of the hip and knee can lead to increased potentiation for knee trauma and arthritis following use of the elliptical. What can we say? Well, with proper technique and muscle control of the hip, knee, and ankle, running does not increase the risk for arthritis. And there's no indication for long-term deformation or damage of the cartilage that occurs from running itself. So, what's the end result of this debate? What can we say? What does the science allow us to conclude? Peak forces on elliptical were highly correlated with treadmill walking. Running may cause greater ground reaction forces, but leg stiffness during the transition can reduce peak forces being expressed. Using elliptical trainer may be recommended as an alternative to jogging, but in the context of reducing knee forces, it is no better than running.